What's going on, guys? SavorSauce here. So, in this video, we're going to be teaching you guys how to make a Streamlit web app using Streamlit, of course, and then we'll have some pre-saved models that we're loading in to make our predictions. So if I just show you, I'm already in my directory, I'm going to show you what we're going to be making. So I just type Streamlit run main.py, and then it'll spin up a thing here. And then I'll just show you right here. So this is what we're making. So I can pick the age, room number, room service, shopping mall, spa, home planet is going to be Mars, no cryo sleep. Say we're VIP, E, starboard. Now you can see our row that we're submitting. You can see how it's not what we put in, but if we click submit person, you can see it all changes, and then we get a little status at the bottom saying whether we survived or whether or not we... well, if we failed, it would say that we failed. Now I'm going to go into Anaconda PowerShell prompt. I'm going to be using Anaconda for this, but if you want to use something different, you can feel free to. So I'm just going to type in at the start, conda activate Streamlit. Just like that. And then I'm going to cd into documents. And then we're going into Streamlit here. Maybe into Spaceship Titanic. So in here you'll see I have a requirements.txt. If you go to the Github repository, I put a link in the description for it. You'll see all these requirements. You need to make sure you have all these installed before we continue. It's just as simple as typing in pip install -r requirements.txt while you're in the directory that this folder is in, or this file, and it'll just install all of them and you'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna make another directory here, name it Streamlit tutorial, like that, and now we're gonna cd into it. Alright, and we're gonna type code and then a dot, like so. And now this is gonna open up Visual Studio Code, like this. So we're gonna need this. This is where we're gonna be making all of our work. So for starters, we're gonna make a file and call it main.py. Now this is the folder that we're going to be doing all of our work in. So I'm going to be commenting each step of the way just to make sure we all know what we're doing. And just to start out, give me a moment. So I am going to bring in these. So these are all the models I used in my last video. If you want to get these models, you can either go to the GitHub repository and install them there, or you can also go ahead and watch the tutorial and get these yourself using Kaggle. I would recommend it. It's a good tutorial. I'm just saying that because I made it. So for starters, we're going to comment out import dependencies like this, and we're going to just start importing. So import Streamlit as st, import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, import sklearn.compose, oh wait, from sklearn.compose, import column transformer, sklearn.preprocessing, import standard scalar, one hot encoder, from sklearn.pipeline, import pipeline, from sklearn.impute, import simple imputer, and from joblib, import dump load. Alright, so that's all of our dependencies imported. Next, we're going to be changing up the config for Streamlit. I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so to do this, we're going to type in st.set page config, and we're gonna set the page title. So this changes the title in like the tab. We're gonna change it to Spaceship Titanic, and we're going to change the layout to wide, like so, and initial sidebar state is equal to auto. That one's not as important, but it could be, so it's important to include it. The wide layout just means that all of our things will be in a wide layout, like you saw in the original, the thing I showed you originally. So now, well, now let's just show you, I'll just show you how it works. So I'm going to type in Control S to save it. Now we're going to pull this up like so, and then we're going to type in Streamlit run main.py. You'll see it takes a second, and now this is it. So we didn't include anything in our app, so you're not going to see anything here, but you can see the title has changed to Spaceship Titanic, and our sidebar state would be open if you could see that, but you can't. So we're just going to close this, we're going to kill the terminal, and then we're going to reopen one, like this. Alright, so now let's keep going. I'm not going to open it again for a while, so we're going to title this title. And we're going to set st.title to Spaceship Titanic Prediction Tutorial. Now, I included some emojis in the original. You can just copy and paste them. I don't have the emojis here, so I'm not going to do it. But just know that you could add emojis. And now we're going to do header. And we're going to do st.header passenger form. So we're making a form here. Now the form just means that you type in all of the things, and then once you hit submit is when it actually instantiates all the things you typed in, rather than doing it instantly. This saves memory on your computer, especially on the server, because you're not making as many posts or uploads to it. So it's overall better. Now we're going to set the values for our numerical and categorical features. I'm just going to copy and paste these, but I'm going to set a comment. Sets values for numerical and categorical features. Alright, and I'll explain all of these lines of code. So whenever we transform them, we're using different transformers for the different types of features. So categorical features will be one-hot encoded, and numerical features will be imputed and then transformed using a standard scaler. So all of these have to be, since they're all numerical values, they should be transformed using the standard scaler, and then the categorical should be changed using one-hot encoder, since each category is important. And then we're using all features, and we're just combining the two of them. You could also use, no, I was gonna say you could use numerical and categorical just to include them, but I don't think that would work. So we're just gonna do it this way for now. Next up, we're gonna be making our pipeline. So I'm gonna title this pipeline, and we're gonna use categorical to start. Categorical pipeline equal to pipeline using an array. So to start, we need to impute, so we're going to use imputer, and it's going to be simple imputer using the strategy of most frequent. Now we're going to use a comma scalar using a one-hot, one-hot encoder. We're actually going to change this. It's not scaling because it's categorical. We're using encode. Put Actually, let's put categorical. Like so. In one hot encoder, our handle unknown is going to be equal to ignore. So we're just going to ignore the values that aren't known. And that is it for our categorical pipeline. And now let's just change this up to be categorical. Categorical. Now we're gonna do numerical. Numerical pipeline is equal to pipeline, same as we did before, except this time we're gonna start out with using the imputer like we did for the categorical. Simple imputer, but the strategy this time will be equal to mean instead. Then we're gonna use scalar, and that'll just be the standard scalar. And we're going to be using no input into that. We don't need to add anything there. And then we're gonna make a preprocessor to combine the two. Preprocessor, like so, is equal to column transformer. And our numerical is going to just be the numerical pipeline. And we're using the numerical features like that. Now we're going to add a categorical pipeline, which just uses the categorical pipeline using the categorical features like that. So now we're going to format our input using a class. So I'm going to call this input formatting. And we're going to make a class called person. So this is just going to contain all the attributes that we need. So we're going to define an initialization function that takes self, age, room number, room, serve, the food court, shopping mall, spa, VR, home, planet, cryo, destination, the VIP, the deck, and the side. Now we need to initialize all of those. I'm just going to copy and paste. This is very straightforward. We're just setting the self of the person equal to each of the inputs that we use in the initialization function. So now we can click out of the initial one. That's the class instantiated, so we don't need anything else in there. Now we need to instantiate the person, and we're going to add none as a placeholder for each value, like this. So now we're going to use profile as our title for our variable, and it's going to be equal to person, like this, and then it's just none, 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 none. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, that's all. Now is going to be the biggest set of things. So I'm going to go through this piece by piece. First, we're going to comment this and label it input form. Now we're going to use with st.form. The key will be equal to person underscore form. So this is creating our form. Profile.age will be equal to the st.slider. And now we're using pick your age as the description. And the numbers values are going to be between 0 and 500. No, wait. We don't live to 500. Just put 100 here. Now we're going to use profile.room number equal to another st.slider. Pick a room number. And our room number value is going to be between 0 and 500. Now the profile.room service equal to st.slider again. Wait. .slider. And we're gonna just label this how much did you spend on room service, like that. Too many O's there. And we're gonna name it between 0 and 10,000. That should be enough. Is that 10,000? Yeah, that's 10,000. Now we're gonna move on to the food court. That'll be equal to another st.slider. I'll just... How much did you spend at the food court? You can put whatever you want for these, but just recommend that it's on topic. Because we need to, on the forms, this is what's going to come up to describe what you're supposed to input. All of the numerical values for the money are going to be between 0 and 10,000. So you can just go on your own pace here. You could skip ahead to whenever I finish if you want. It doesn't really matter. But make sure that you have one input value for each of these variables. So I'm just going to go through the rest of these. And yeah, if you guys want to skip ahead, it doesn't really matter. So profile.shopping mall equal to st.slider. How much did you spend at the shopping mall? That should be between 0 and 10,000. Yeah, 10,000. Profile.spa equal to st.slider. How much did you spend at the spa? Between 0 and 10,000. Profile.vr equal to st.slider. How much did you spend on VR deck? Between 0 and 10,000. Profile.homeplanet equal to st.radio. What is your home planet? That can be between Earth, Mars, and Europa. Profile.cryo st.toggle sleep. Profile.destination is st.radio. Where are you going? Be equal to Trappist 1E, 55 Country E, and PSOJ318.5.22. Profile.VIP is equal to st.toggle VIP. Profile.deck is equal to st.radio. Deck was your room on, and that can be between A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Profile.side is equal to st.radio. What side was your room on? P is equal to port. S is equal to starboard. And that's between S and P. Now we just need to finalize it using st.form submit button. Submit person. Now we're gonna move on here. So all features are equal to... Well, no, we don't need that. We already have it. Or wait. Okay. So now we are going to set up the data that we're inputting. I'm going to copy and paste this because it's just kind of repetitive. So here you can see all of our features. This is the same code that was up here where it says all features. And I just added this whenever I was writing this down so that the data, as you can see here, I had something to refer to. So our age is the age, room number, room service, and so on and so forth, and it just goes down the list. We're just using this so that we're going to transform it into a data frame in a second. So now we're going to show the data being passed to model. We're going to use framed data as the variable equal to pd.dataFrame. Data index will be equal to 0. Now we're going to make an st.table to show the framed data, like so. Now we're just going to transform the data. Now we're going to do preprocessor dot is equal to load. So we're loading our preprocessor that's up here, right there. Now we're going to name it preprocessor.joblib because we're using joblib to open it. Now we're going to use model data as to hold the transformed data. It's equal to preprocessor.transform the frame data, like that. Now we are going to make predictions. So predict using base models. Now the base models are going to be the ones that we loaded up. Those are these three. So we're going to first of all load in the models. So GBM model 1 will be equal to load GBM model 1.joblib, and we're just going to copy and paste this like that. And we'll also copy and paste it one more time. I'll show you why. Now we're doing 2, 3, 2, 3. Now we're gonna rename this one to meta model, and this is gonna be called metamodel.joblib. So this is the model that takes in all the other predictions and then predicts based on those predictions to get better accuracy. So make predictions. We'll make the predictions right here. So GBM 1 pareds is equal to the GBM model 1.predict model data. Now we're going to use 2 pareds equal to GBM model 2.predict model data. GBM 3 pareds equal to model 3.predict model data. Now we're going to stack them. So stack predictions, and our stacked pareds will be equal to numpy.column stack. And then we're going to use 2 things here. GBM 1 pareds, GBM 2 pareds, and GBM 3 pareds, like that. And now we'll use metamodel to predict. And our final prediction will be equal to metamodel.predict stacked grids, like that. Now, this is the last home stretch. If final prediction is equal to true, we'll use st.error person was transported to alternate dimension, because that's the lore in the competition. And then let's take this, like that, and then else st.success person survived and stayed in our dimension. And now we'll use this one, that, just to make it look nicer. And there we go. This is all the code. So now that we have our main function written, we can run. So Streamlit run main.py, like that. And now, look at this. It's here. Let's run it just to make sure everything works. Like this. Mars, Cancery, D, port side. We survived! Yay! What if we VIP? You could change this stuff all around and it might work. Might change something, might not. You never know. But in general, this is some working code. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the video for more tutorials. I'll be making more soon. And yeah, that's it. See ya.